Should we both do that thing where we're not listening to each other's answers, but kind of just getting ready for our next question? Hi, I'm Paul Dano.
I'm Carey Mulligan.
Carey, thank you for being here with us today.
Cool, thanks for being here.
What was the performance that made you want to become an actor?
I don't know.
Little Miss Sunshine, There Will Be Blood.
I didn't have a single one. I didn't know it was a job for a long time, so I can't remember what it was. Jumanji.
That's
Robin
good.
Williams and Jumanji. I think I remember that being like, that's such a cool job.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I think I had a similar thing because I think my first favorite actor was probably Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
When Ace Ventura and Dumb and Dumber and The Mask all kind of were within the span of a year.
Yeah.
He was definitely a hero. And he's Canadian.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I think so, right? And they all know, yeah.
Yes.
And then I think Jack Nicholson was probably Cuckoo's Nest. I don't know why I would have seen that at probably in middle school at some point, but...
What was the film that made you want to direct?
I was always kind of interested in it, and then when I started seeing a lot of independent and foreign films and realized sort of how just how many different sort of voices there are, seeing films by like Ozu and Bresson and going, I didn't know you could do that with sound, and I didn't know you could do that just sort of with the camera. There's a moment in a film called A Man Escaped where the character leaves the frame and it just holds on this empty wall and you just hear the whole action and then he comes back. And I'm sure that's been done in other films before that, but I'd never just seen like simple things where I was like, that engaged my senses in such a fun way instead of just following in close up like every single thing the character's doing. And so once like all my senses kind of were opened up to like the different things you could maybe do, then it started to seem like a really exciting prospect. I'm going to ask you this, but you can say no because I think it's a tough question.
Okay.
I don't know that I don't know that I could answer it. But what types of roles have you not had the chance to play that you would like to?
Spaceman.
Really? I like space too.
I'd like to do something in space.
Is incredible.
I tried to, obviously. I told you. I auditioned for Gravity, and I had to wear a spacesuit, and I had to wear a skull cap and no makeup and a space hat and spin around in space as if I was lost in space. But I didn't get the job, which is weird because I obviously nailed it. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think I've done a lot with period films, just because that's where the best jobs have been.
Yeah.
Not because of any other reason that was the best writing. So I think I'm kind of aware of that.
Yeah.
But I don't have a role. It's more like I know what I don't want to do, and it's what I've already done. So I want to do like whatever.
I understand. Whenever somebody asks me that, I wish I had like a really good answer, but I
Yeah.
like being surprised when I read something and being like, oh, that's what I want to do.
Yeah, and I don't hark after like iconic roles that have already, like Joan of Arc, or I don't like have a desire to play like.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like someone's already done that really well.
Yeah.
I'll do something that hasn't been written.
But you would do a play, or something that's been done before.
Yeah, we do a play, but some things not. Like Joan of Arc, I really wouldn't touch because I saw Anne-Marie Duff and was like, that's it. No one else should do it now.
Yeah.
I think there are some roles like that.
Yeah.
What's the single best piece of advice that someone gave you before directing wildlife?
I was constantly seeking advice because it was really scary, and there's so many new things and new things happening every day, really, and constant change, and not necessarily compromise, but just you're constantly negotiating how you're going to pull off making the film. So when you get to your shooting days, you can just do your work. Honestly, like trusting yourself, which is an easy thing to say, but then when you're in it, it's a lot harder, especially the first time, to just know that you have to follow your own instincts, and that's actually the kind of the highest.
Who said that to you?
Probably many people.
Oren
Moverman, who helped us produce the film, lovely, special man, writer, director, and producer. I was calling him a lot, especially when it came to the idea of like, gosh, is it worth giving up this location to gain the hours with the kid or something like that?
Yeah.
Where, and everybody always said to me also, take the time.
Yeah.
Like time is the most precious thing you have. So like, I would give up the location if you could get more time.
Yeah.
And that's what you're going to want with your actors, like on the day. And I hate when we're rushed as actors. And I feel like we're there once.
Yeah.
Like let's make sure we can do it a few times.
Yeah.
And
that's the headspace thing of directing that is just mind-boggling to me. Like that you have all of those like really admin-based things in your head about like budget and like numbers of extras and really like spreadsheety stuff.
Yeah.
That like is such a
I
turn
didn't
off.
like
but
part.
yeah, I didn't.
At first,
You're really good at it.
Well, thanks. Yeah, that was tough. So, what role do you think film has in affecting change?
I don't know. I feel like I've been in lots of sort of a terrible term for like important films, and right, they're all important. I think my episode of Doctor Who was really important. But I feel like I've been in lots of like sort of films that have like a thing about and I'm not entirely. I suppose the endeavour has to be that you can start a conversation, but I never go into something being like, this will teach them a lesson, or like this will galvanise them into a revolution. Like it's more just, isn't this interesting? And couldn't we think about this a bit more or something? Or I could think about it a bit. It's more usually about me. Yeah. That's good, isn't it?
No, that's right. I mean, sometimes I think, people
But it is. It's like you're trying to understand it better yourself.
Yeah,
rather than being like, I'm going to understand this so that I can spread the word to the masses.
Yeah. And I think there's that thing of if you can understand yourself a bit better and put something really personal into it, it's probably going to be personal to somebody else.
Yeah.
So I think for me, like, if I'm moved, it can speak to me where I don't want to be lectured or something.
Yeah.
I think occasionally a film can open a window to something, and that's wonderful. And also, like, pop culture does have value, actually, because other kids and people can see, like, oh, like, it's okay to be this or to do this, or it's cool to do this or do that, or it's okay to talk about this that I didn't know it was okay to talk about. And I think maybe seeing sometimes something in a film or a piece of art can make you feel a little more comfortable with something of your own experience.
Do you think your acting process has changed? I think I know the answer to this a little bit. Do you think your acting process has changed now that you've experienced being a director?
I think so. I was surprised when we were all working together how much I liked you guys. And I am an actor, but I was watching you guys and just being like, I don't know how they do this. It was just such a strange feeling to be at the monitor. And so I really came away feeling really good about acting and what it is and how it is the lifeblood of the film for the audience for the most part. There are some incredible filmmakers where really the image can take care of it, but for the most part you're really living through the characters and me through you as a director. And so I think I've felt sort of excited by acting just by getting to watch you guys. And certainly now I do think I have a respect for the process and sort of taking care of my own shit.
And Zoe said that she learnt that from the edit, like watching the edit a lot made her. She said that had an impact on her in terms of like...
That's absolutely right, and it did me too, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
And I think that's trust.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing because, like everybody wants the film to be good, and sometimes as an actor you're putting yourself out there and it's like, well, what if they choose the wrong take, or how are they going to cut it? And, you're kind of at the mercy of the makers. But once you're in there, like, we're meticulously going through every bit of minutia and trying to serve the story in the best way possible, and seeing a good editor work and sort of knowing, okay, like, there's people, we have each other's back.
Yeah. It always makes me nervous when I don't think the director knows when I was, like, bullshitting. Do you know what I mean? They're like, that was great. And like, that was really bad. Don't put that in the film, but you never did that.
No, but you also, we probably don't always know.
Yeah.
So you might have been brilliant in that take you felt not good about.
What was it like working with Steve McQueen?
Steve is, he's a force. I actually thought he could be really fun too, which I was so surprised about in our film.
He's really fun.
Yeah, like he has like a big energy.
He was like a sort of, like really enthusiastic football coach at times. He'd be like, guys, that was fucking amazing.
Yes.
Well, I don't know why he doesn't have that accent, but he's like really...
There were times where, and and I've seen him do Q&As before that and speak eloquently and be quite serious. So this teddy bear, this big teddy bear side, the cheerleading side. Yeah. But he's like one of the only people who, almost like what you imagine in like a stereotypical fashion photo shoot, where after taking a genius.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, duh, like, that's too nice. Like, and I think I had to tell him that once and be like,
I loved it.
You're being too nice.
But it was like really like rallying and like, I know. And I was really surprised by that.
Yeah, that's a fun quality.
Yeah. Really fun.
This was really great.
It was really great.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah. Oh.
Well, that was great, guys. You've definitely got a backup job.